Hello and welcome to the Plant Powered Celiac. Today we are going to be talking all about why we need omega-3s and just why they are so powerful at improving our overall health and well-being. I'm Hayley and I'm so happy that you're here today. In case you didn't know, omega-3s are an essential fatty acid. Essential meaning that our bodies cannot make them. We have to consume them. And there are some foods that are much more powerful in omega-3s than others, and they're so important for us to eat. Now, if you're trying to lose weight or lose fat, and you're thinking that it might be a good idea, or you heard somewhere that you'll lose weight faster if you cut out all fats, I hope that this video will help you understand that not all fats are created equal, and that our bodies need some fats for not only our metabolic health, our brain health, our hormonal health, especially as women, that we do need healthy fats. But not all fats are created equal. And it's also important to understand that not all food we consume is either only stored as fat or burned for energy. Some foods, like omega-3 fatty acids, actually become part of our cellular membranes. They actually become part of our cells and help our bodies to function better. Omega-3 fatty acids are so rich in anti-inflammatory properties, especially at that cellular level. Our body is made up of trillions of cells, and they're all trying to communicate with each other to achieve homeostasis or that balance within our bodies so that we can have good health. Omega-3s are really powerful at reducing inflammation and helping to lower the overall risk of chronic disease such as heart disease, arthritis, and even cancer. Now, if your cell membranes don't have enough omega-3s, it actually becomes really, really difficult for nutrients to get into the cells and for toxins to actually get out of the cell. When I first went whole food plant-based, I came across some amazing plant-based doctors and online influencers and chefs and people that had been eating this way for a long time. And I started listening to all of them. And I bought different books from different doctors, and I got some incredible information, and I felt so motivated to eat this way. But I was kind of taking a little bit out of everybody's playbook, and what I ended up with was not a very balanced whole food plant-based diet. In fact, I heard so many messages about how eating fat would actually make you fat that I decided to remove all fats from my diet because the messages were really convincing and I had nothing really to compare it to. So I thought that this would be the healthiest way for me to eat. However, over time, I think it was probably about 2 to 3 years of eating this way on a regular basis. Now, I just want to say that I wasn't regularly not eating any fats because that really wasn't sustainable, and my hormone health, I feel like, was up and down. My hair went very dry and brittle. I had a lot of sort of adverse effects over a period of time. I did lose my period a couple of times. Like I said, I really thought with the information I was taking in that I was doing the best thing for my body. However, over this time period of 2 to 3 years, without including foods that were rich in omega-3, so I used to eat a lot of nuts. Now, nuts are not rich in omega-3s, but some nuts like walnuts do have a higher omega-3 profile than something like almonds or peanuts. So at this point, I wasn't including any nuts, wasn't including any seeds, and I became very deficient in omega-3s. And so already having an autoimmune disease, celiac disease, I understand that my immune system doesn't function the way it should in attacking my own body's tissue in terms of the lining of my gut. And because my cell membranes were so deficient in omega-3s, I was not absorbing the nutrition that I needed to fight disease and to get rid of toxins. And so over time, I developed psoriasis. It started as a small rash on the back of my hand, which spread to both my hands, which went up my arms, over my legs, it went on my feet, it was in my hair, it was very, very itchy. And at the time, I didn't know what to do about it. But I was able to thankfully fall back on some of the wonderful information that I had already learned, but wasn't applying in terms of adding omega-3s to my diet and just how powerful they are. So I turned to one of my favorite plant-based doctors, Dr. Brooke Goldner, and I really went deeper into what she was saying. And even though I had been listening to her for a couple of years, I really wasn't applying it. I have some of her books along with other plant-based doctors who I love, but I really started to get serious about eating more omega-3 rich seeds, especially. Now, the best sources of omega-3 fatty acids are flax seeds and chia seeds. Once I started to have those in my diet every day, I increased my water intake, I increased my intake of raw healing foods like the dark leafy green vegetables and raw cruciferous vegetables, my body began to get the nutrition it needs to reverse that damage, to reverse those symptoms, and to start healing at a cellular level. I remember having the psoriasis all over me, going to the doctor, and they kept prescribing me like a corticosteroid cream, which are great. It's a great band-aid fix, but it's not a solution. And so I was applying the creams, and the initial rash on top would eventually go away. My hands would still have like a very purpley hue underneath, and once I stopped taking the creams, it would just come straight back again. And what I found was that the rash actually spread to different parts of my body. So it might heal this little patch on my hand, but then it would move down my arm, or it would move to the top of my feet or my legs. And so I wasn't healing the disease at a cellular level. I was just basically applying a band-aid solution. So once I kept being regular with the nutrition that my body needs, specifically the omega-3s, I really noticed healing. So it's been 2 years and I don't have any psoriasis symptoms anymore because I am so regular with my omega-3s, with my water intake, and with my high nutrient vegetables. So if you're scared of fats, I really want you to understand that not all fats are created equal, and that some fats like saturated fats and processed oils, and especially the oils, will be absorbed into the bloodstream very quickly, and they most likely do become body fat very quickly. They're especially easy to store rapidly in that liquid form. A lot of those saturated fats are very high in omega-6. Omega-6 actually do contribute greatly to inflammation. Now, even nuts can be high in omega-6. It doesn't mean that they necessarily contribute to a lot of inflammation. But if you're trying to rapidly heal or reverse a disease or even get into shape quickly, it's a really good idea to reduce the omega-6 in your diet and up the omega-3. Yes, some other plant foods do contain omega-3s like hemp seeds and walnuts. However, hemp seeds and walnuts actually do have a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. So the best possible source of omega-3 fatty acids really are the flax and chia seeds, which are mostly omega-3, and they are fantastic for healing, health, and longevity. Other good fats to add are things like avocados, which are not omega-6 or omega-3, they're more of an omega-9, and they're so good for you. I know there's a lot of debate about using things like olive oil, and that is completely up to you. I'm not here to say whether you should use olive oil or not in your diet. I personally don't. What I know about olive oil, that it is an omega-9, which means it's not inflammatory. But because it's a processed oil, it can actually damage the endothelial, the really delicate lining of your arterial walls, so causing damage to your arteries over a long period of time. Now, is eating some olive oil, some cold pressed olive oil, healthier than eating hydrogenated vegetable oils? Yeah, probably, but I still prefer to get my fat sources from whole plant foods like flax seeds, chia seeds, avocados, even things like tofu, and of course some other nuts and seeds on occasion as well. I don't eat nuts every day. I especially like to use them in desserts and dressings and things like that for special occasions, but I do eat flax and chia seeds every day, and I do eat avocados most days as well. So when we eat whole plant food sources of fats, they come with the fiber, they come with the water and nutrients. It's kind of akin to comparing a whole grain with a processed white flour. So obviously there's a lot more nutrition and fiber in the whole grain than when you ground it down and process it into a flour that's now devoid of nutrition and doesn't have any fiber left in it. So look to whole plant sources, but especially to those omega-3 fatty acid rich seeds like flax seeds and chia seeds. And the best way, I have personally found, the best way to eat them is just blend them into a smoothie. And I really recommend buying your seeds whole, because when you buy pre-ground flax or chia seeds, they're actually oxidized. They begin to oxidize once air hits them. So if you blend them in a smoothie, for example, they're blending up in water and they won't become oxidized, and the omega-3 rich components are still intact and you will get all the benefits from it. So I highly recommend try blending them into your smoothies or even salad dressings. And they're such a fantastic way to get easy nutrition in. I personally love eating them every day. They really stimulate that healing pathway and they have improved my digestion so much. I remember back to when I was not eating any added fats in my diet, and I would, of course, want to crave some of those more high fat foods like nut butters and things because I was really deficient in healthy fats in general without actually realizing it, like I said. And even though today I eat a hyper nourishing plant based diet, I do still have some gluten free vegan processed foods here and there, especially for recreational special occasions. Even back when I wasn't eating any fats at all, when I was new to this way of eating, and I wasn't including healthy fats in my diet, and I would eat something as simple as just plain gluten-free rice crackers, I was not able to digest them properly. I would actually be in agony the next day because I suppose my gut microbiome just did not have the materials that they needed to easily break that down. It was almost like I was a digestive cripple or something. I just couldn't even digest something simple like rice crackers. It was so painful to eat. I would really be in agony. And I was so confused, like, why is this happening? And now my gut health is so good that when I do choose to eat some lightly processed foods or things like rice crackers, not that I ever crave them or want them, but if it's a special occasion and we've made hummus or whatever it is, and I'm joining my kids in having some of that, I don't have any gut pain. I'm able to digest it so much easier because I'm including those omega-3 fatty acids every day. So give them a try. See how you feel. I've noticed such an improvement in my hair health. My hair has become just healthier. It's longer. It's quite long, and I don't even notice. I get comments about your hair is so long, and I forget because I'm not actively thinking about trying to grow my hair. It's just the way I'm eating. And honestly, really, that is the major cause of my hair health is what I'm putting into my body. I don't use expensive products or anything like that. But the omega-3 fatty acids have made a huge difference for so many aspects of my life. So if you're afraid of trying them, you're looking for other ways to improve your overall health and well-being, I highly recommend adding more omega-3 fatty acids, particularly the flax and chia seeds, to your diet. And I know that you will see improvement in your health. They are amazing. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. I highly encourage you to add omega-3s to your diet. I promise you that you will see a difference and you will feel so much better for it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Ooh, the oven's going off.